Hey everyone, what is going on? It is Brian and we are back. And today is another video in collaboration with Keg N Bottle and Bourbon Pursuit. And we are taking a look at their brand new 1792 Foolproof. Now, 1792 is a brand that a lot of people really dig and one that I haven't really talked about on the channel at all. So I'm excited to get in with a Foolproof, and we are going to dive right on in to this pour. This pour looks beautiful already in the glass. But what I'm loving is how nice of a bourbon profile this has. I feel like when people talk about having really good 1792 picks, this is the kind of thing that would come to my mind. Compared to other things that I've had, it is not biting. It's not burning on the nose. Man, can you see some of the legs here? It's not burning on the nose. It's not biting. It is so sweet and biting. It's got a little bit of smoke. It's got a little bit of a woodsy characteristic. I can't exactly place that it's really oaky necessarily on the nose, but it's a little smoky. It's a little bit of this barrel char in there. It's got this kind of woodsy spice, this mix of some slightly fragrant, like apples and I don't know, other orchard fruits. It's kind of like pear. It's got some nice ripe fruit notes. There's a little bit deeper kind of berry sweetness there as well. But then there's a lot of like brown sugar and honey in there as well. That kind of finishes and leaves with a lot of nice kind of cakey, dense sweetness. So I would say kind of classic bourbon profile, but really well done. Again, doesn't burn the nose. For 125 proof, this is incredibly inviting. Let's go ahead and dive into the palate. And the palate moves. It starts off with this fresh, sweet vanilla bean note that is really decadent and really enjoyable. It moves into oakiness on the palate. There's a little bit of cinnamon spice there, but it's not too youthful, and it does seem to flow with some oakiness to follow. It is really rich on the tongue, and it moves into these dark chocolate covered cherry notes that are delicious. The finish seems to, again, give some oakiness and then switch over to some tobacco. And then as it lingers even longer on the palate, like as you sit with it, maybe if you take some time in between your sips, then you'll notice that cherry note come back through. One of my favorite ways that I found out I like to have this pour is if you just add a touch of water to it, then it seems to not only open the nose up, but you get some really interesting characteristics on the palate. And most recently, so when I was at Repeal Steakhouse downtown Louisville recently, I was able to try Lucky 7's 14-year proprietor. And while this is not as oaky or leathery, there is a flavor about that pour that kind of makes me think about King of Kentucky. It makes me think about those well-aged whiskeys that I personally really like. And once you add a little bit of water to this, man, this is so much more enjoyable. You keep that same rich, sweet, vanilla, custardy type of sweetness, but you add a little bit more depth. You get a little bit more of the wood come out, and you get a little bit more barrel char specifically. It's a little bit more smoky and a little bit more of that kind of like burnt charred wood note that's really nice on the nose. Let's go ahead and go into the palate again with a little bit of water added to it. It is where it was rich on the palate before, it is oily on the palate with a little bit of water. Espresso, barrel char, more oak, deeper dark fruits that go beyond just cherry, just kind of dark fruit stewed sweetness there. And a little bit, it's just a lengthier, oakier pour. Man, this does not have youthful hints to me at all. It just signifies really classic bourbon profile, and I'm honestly surprised. This is a super delicious foolproof pick. I think that if kind of traditional bourbon flavors, if some of the other notes I previously talked about are interesting to you, if you're someone who likes oakier pours, some decadence to it as well, that you might find this enjoyable. It's not going to give you tons of oak. It's not going to give you the leather notes you might be seeking, but what it does give you is the complete package. You all, thanks so much for tuning in. I hope you found this content helpful. Leave me a message down below if you have any more questions about this bottle, specifically 1792 products. If there's other things you want to see me talk about on the channel. Thanks again, Bourbon Pursuit and Keg N Bottle. Until next time, we'll see you all later.